Boom. Hello, and welcome to the annual and eternal What's Up with Onyx Path panel. I'm Rich Thomas, founder and creative director of Onyx Path Publishing. I am joined by three of our most delightful people that work with us and for us and around us, and that's about as far as I'm going to go. If you all would introduce yourselves, Matthew, you want to jump in?
My name is Matthew Dawkins. You might remember me from such hits as The Gentleman's Guide to Gaming and other such shows. I am the overseer and creative strategist of the Curseborn game line, Bane games, the various They Came From games, Scion, and probably others. I wear a lot of hats, and it is a great pleasure to be here this Sunday for the third day of Onyx PathCon 2025.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo.
Pass it. Do a popcorn initiative. Pass it.
Oh, it's Popcorn Initiative. Well, we love Popcorn Initiative, so I'm going to pass it on to Dixie.
Hello, I am Dixie Cochran. I am an in-house developer at Onyx Path Publishing. I oversee the bulk of the editing. I do some layout. I do some writing. I have been working on Curseborn for 7 years. I do a little bit of everything, and it's all super fun. And I also do a little tiny bit of art now, which is cool. But yeah, I've been here for these panels since 2020, and even before then when we were having them at Gen Con. So I'm here now for What's Up with Onyx Path, and because the sunlight is fading because it's overcast, my hair is bleeding into the background, so enjoy this slightly ghostly version of me that you're going to be getting today. Since it's the end of the round and only one person hasn't had initiative passed to them yet, that means it has to go to Eddie.
No, NPCs go before I go. No, sorry.
Oh, okay, okay. Any
Oh, I got some NPCs for you. Let me tell you.
I've got a plushie that could.
Ooh, plushie goes next. There you go. My name is Eddy Webb. I am the executive producer at Onyx Path Publishing. I oversee all the games that Matthew doesn't. I am also the creator and owner of the Realms of Pugmire property, and I deeply apologize for looking like I'm here to order the death of Superman, but the lighting is just in a weird angle in my room right now.
It gives you kind of an epic thing, you know? Yeah, like you're in your layer, coming up with more complicated and foolish plans to take over the world.
See, if I lean forward too much, it looks like my identity should have been actually hidden to the end of episode 3. So I mean, I gotta keep up.
So which Superman replacement are you, Eddie? You Cyborg Superman? Are you Steel?
Definitely Cyborg Superman. The dumbest of the Superman replacements.
Oh.
I just opened a Word doc to get better lighting, if that tells you anything about how I'm doing over here.
Absolutely.
I often have to refrain from having a white document on my screen, otherwise it gleams off the top of my head.
Well, yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Anyway, we are now all introduced. So as people say things randomly and interject on top of other people's conversations, which always happens during the What's Up with the Onyx Path panel, you'll know who they are. Here we go. So we're going to do a little bit of recaps. We're going to touch base on a few things here. I did want to address something from previous panel, which was the third and last of our Curseborn panels at this convention, where someone in the chat had asked, how's the current situation with printing, shipping, tariffs, all that affecting Onyx Path? Is it causing grave problems and things like that? It is definitely not what the situation that we would want. It is a bad situation for economic reasons. It's a bad situation for publishing reasons. And it's all because less about the actual numbers that any tariff might be today, and more about the idea that next week it could be something else. The week after that, it could be something else. It is incredibly difficult to plan in the midst of flux. And planning is a large part of what we do, especially once it leaves Onyx Path and goes to a different company that we have to relate to get them to do the stuff we want to have done when we want it done in the way we want it. So impacting us, yes. Has it stopped us from creating games? No. We are rolling ahead so far and as far as we can foresee, putting up PDFs on Drive Through RPG, putting up print-on-demand books at the same service, doing online material at all is unaffected by this. So we just recently put up an interactive bit of fiction on the Curseborn website, which is very scary. And,
Oh, is that what's wrong with the website? I didn't know.
yeah,
Ooh,
and
moths.
it's called Olivia Waits, and it is a thing where you want to make a choice that then takes you to another page that you can read through to get to the next page, et cetera, et cetera. And it is an enormous amount of both fun, and it is very horrific in a lot of ways. There are very few happy endings to this particular story. So
Oh yeah. I don't know. Did Dixie count? Did you count the number of endings I wrote for that thing?
Yeah, so Matthew did write this, just so y'all know, we haven't actually said that yet. I programmed it. There's at least 50 endings. And there's also over 450 individual passages. So there's a lot to see in there.
And most of those endings are you dying horribly.
Yeah, most of them are you dying horribly, or
Keep it classic.
there's a couple of very silly things. My favorite ending is currently titled Hips. I think Matthew will know what that means. It's one of the sillier ones.
Okay.
That happens after a choice of meat or salad.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, it's a very important question.
It's really fun. It kind of goes between like abject horror and a little bit of absurdist humor, which I think is a great tone. Because using that to kind of throw some levity into a horror adventure is fun.
it's gonna be a lot of WTFs,
Yeah.
and I don't mean Forsaken.
No, and we would love it if people. Oh, very good. I would love it if when people reach the end of that game, or when they reach the end of a path, paste the ending you get in the Curseborn Discord over on the Onyx Path Discord. Let us know which endings are being hit more than any others. That's interesting data to accumulate. I mean, we're not doing it seriously, but we would be interested in seeing what kind of choices the players make. So,
And let us know if it's if you found a particularly satisfying ending or particularly freakish. One that you just went, oh, I'm disturbed by this, because that's also real good to know too. But yeah, so we continue to do what we do in a lot of different spaces. The publishing part of it is simply until we can send files to a printer and know what we're going to be charged in the entire process before it comes back, we can't actually do business like that. So right now we're talking. I've talked to probably over a dozen printers around the world. Every time I find a printer I think we might be able to work with, somebody who shall remain nameless slaps a tariff on them. So we're gonna continue to try to push through, and hopefully this time of flux will be over. I keep saying it that way because that was the way it was said to me from a fellow from the deep south. We're filled with flux, Richard. So beyond that, we are using this convention also as a chance to announce something that we're very proud of. We've been working with the folks over at Demilane for quite a while to come up with another online tool, another very exciting online tool for Scion. And right now, I actually have the FAQ for what this actually is. So let me go to that. I'm going to read a little bit to you. I hope you'll forgive me for that. And also, my face is probably going to be really bright because it's a white page with black text. But this is the Scion Nexus on Demilane. And what is the Nexus? It is the official digital companion of Scion 2nd edition with several different components for players and story guides. There are character tools which will not be available as it launches, but will be built into it as it continues on, which will be stylish, powerful tools to build and play your character. allowing you to track them from, as they say, lovely, from life path to flatline and everything in between. What
Some
will be
cyberpunk
available when we
research.
get started are digital compendiums. They're not just the rules, mechanics, and world of each game line. They have tooltips, cross-linking, and a searchable function, so you can get information quickly without having to stop the game. Basically, this is going to be a very easy way to have this up while you're playing Scion. And what happens if we do this? Okay, let me just run my little search on here, but boom, it'll take you right to it. Digital listings, everything you need is broken into filterable listings, and if you get a subscription to Demiplane, you can choose to share your Content Nexus titles along with all of your other Demiplane Nexus titles with up to 24 of your friends or frenemies of your choice. So, Demiplane's Nexus are designed to be versatile, catering to your gaming needs on desktop, tablet, and mobile devices. Adaptability ensures you can enjoy your game sessions wherever you are, either in person or online. So it is not simply a VTT thing, but it is a VTT thing as well as a in-person thing. If you're interested, Demiplane currently supports Cyberpunk Red, Daggerheart, Vampire the Masquerade, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Fallout the role-playing game, and more. We are in very good company as we are coming into this, and we are looking sometime this winter, probably before the end of the year. They will launch. Demiplane will release Scion Nexus into early access. That means that we'll have 4 to 5 titles available, at least one for free. It's digital listings, rules, digital compendium, and cross-linking tooltips and other really good tools. And it gives Demiplane a chance to take in community feedback to design the character tools. And so from that, they will then build those out and as soon as possible after the early access. But when they feel like they've gotten some pretty good feedback about the early access material. You'll be able to walk through making your Scion hero step by step with tooltips and cross-linking. Very useful for old and new players. And Demiplane strongly believes this is a great step-by-step process because it helps you learn the game as you go. There will be a clickable character sheet that allows you to do dice rolls on the sheet quickly while also being able to pull up quick tips and mechanics for reference. We'll also have a PDF export to print. So if you want a printed sheet for your character, print it out. It is a digital companion. So they want to stress that it is not a VTT. It is a digital companion. Demiplane and Roll20 are working together through an integration, and they're hoping to be able to have basically, if you're on Roll20, you can just go right over to Demiplane and go back and forth. They're in beta with that software that attempt right now, but they are definitely going at it.
Just this past week, they launched being able to put Demiplane sheets inside of Roll20 sheets. So it is a very real thing that's happening now.
Yeah, and it's very exciting. If again, if this is all new stuff for you, I don't know why I would need this. It's really just for having very convenient tools. I have a D&D group. Half of the people are working on Roll20 or you know what, pulling up their PDFs on a handheld, and part of the people I've got a stack of books and paper and come on, we're right here,
Yeah, I'm in 2 like in-person groups right now. I play every 2 weeks at my local game store, and in both of those, we're all using electronics just for our character sheets. So if you look at the table, it looks like we had like a study group or something, because we all have like laptops and tablets and things out. But we're rolling physical dice and we're using physical minis and we're there in person. It's just an easy way to keep track of our PDFs. So I love stuff like that for play aids. It's really, really useful. Like I play one game with an iPad and one with a laptop because one of them uses Foundry, which doesn't work on an iPad very well.
Yeah, I think I think we're really very much in there's a lot of people who are very comfortable with using digital tools and using VTT, and there's a lot of people who are very comfortable, obviously, with books and paper and
Oh, yeah.
physical dice and all that. But I think it's actually in a period now where it's a sharing and giving sort of moment where people are doing both.
Yep.
Across the various games, and Scion is well situated to be part of that. and we'll have more obviously as things occur. The Demilane folks, they are, they're doing this. They're doing a phenomenal job with it. Really happy with it so far. You'll be seeing ads about this appearing now that we've announced it during the con. So you'll have an opportunity you'll be seeing it as things happen, and of course we'll let you know from our end as we know what's going on as well. So there you go. That was me reading off of the screen. What else have we got going on, gang? What have we announced at this convention? I know in the Curse-Board panel that I was on just a half hour ago, we gave out the fact that we are doing a setting book for Curse-Board for the city of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And environs. Let me be very clear. It's the area around Seattle as well.
Yeah, it's really, I'm assuming at this point, and this is just based on like I am somebody on the team who has lived in Seattle, and I'm one of the people who kind of advocated for it. Although we talked about a lot of different cities, I like Seattle because it does have a lovely like wilderness area. It has an actual rainforest. Puget Sound itself has a fjord, which is a thing that we don't have many of in North America. I think it might be the only
Crinkly
one.
bits.
It's got mountains. It's got underwater volcanoes. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. But really, it's gonna yes, it's gonna be the Seattle city book, but I'm assuming it's gonna be more like the Puget Sound city book, because that's where we get in a little bit of Tacoma, where the airport is, a little bit of like Bremerton and Bainbridge Island, which are across the sound from Seattle, but accessible by ferry. Probably some of the area north of there, where we're getting up near Vancouver. So like it's a really diverse area in terms of both landscape and population.
Which is what we wanted for our city for Curse-Board, the very first one.
Yeah.
So that people, any of the families can be present in Seattle. There's not like trying to shoehorn somebody in there because you're out in the desert. Why would one of the
Vodnik? Yeah.
Vodniks be there? That makes no sense. Well, they're in the sewers. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about it. We are, starting to talk about it now. So I don't have a concrete plan of what's in the book, but I know that a lot of folks, when they think of Seattle, because of the way it has been portrayed in media, a lot of people basically think like Pike Market, Space Needle,
Frasier.
and I feel like that's what, like Pike Market, Space Needle, Frasier, and that's such.
But what lineage is Frasier?
Oh God, probably something very.
I think the one that sucks the emotions out.
He's one of the dead, isn't he?
Yeah,
like the really boring.
Oh, I'm fairly certain he didn't die in the reboot.
But yeah.
Salad and scramble.
Norm is one of the dead now.
Oh no, that made me sad.
I'm really excited to show people more of the city. We do have quite a few freelancers who either have lived in the Pacific Northwest or currently live there. So whether or not they write on the book, I'm sure we'll do some consulting with them, just like we did with our Chicago-based freelancers when we did Chicago by Night.
Yeah.
We want to have the same kind of attention to detail. And I'm really looking forward to it and cannot wait to present Cursed Seattle, as it were.
Yeah,
Right.
the central hope with Seattle City of Curses is that we don't just present a city in America, but that we provide a huge number of jumping off points for your stories. Lots of places for your characters to get involved and for them to come from, or things for them to interact with, which we're confident that entire Washington state area has. But also to provide story guide tools. And I think we've made the comparison before. A lot of people love Damnation City for Vampire the Requiem, and we understand why. It's a fantastic book. So we want to be able to show you, the players and the story guides, this is how you can use your city in this way. This is how you can build a city in this way. So you have your Seattle focus that will portray how a cursed society works in a city like Seattle, but you will also have a lot of tools for creating your own environment for Curseborn.
Yeah, either an existing city you want to adapt, like we did with Seattle. We'll show you how we did that, or a completely, imaginary city, but in your Curseborn world.
Yeah.
But also, it might be the first time I get to write about my beloved Seattle Seahawks in a game book, so that's
we're gonna
that's
excise
exciting.
that.
You can't excise the 12.
There's only room for one
Seattle.
bird football team, and that's the Eagles, baby.
Well, then you should have said it in Philly.
Eagles. That was in the running. A lot of cities were in the running. So if you've had a particular city, they hate my city. No, we looked at a lot of different cities, but we really thought that Seattle gave us the best range, best size of a city that if we try to jump into the very first thing doing New York City, New York City's an aberration. It's not like most cities are. It's its own thing. And a smaller size city with a lot of surrounding area that could justify or allow the various lineages to exist, the families to exist there, was what we were really looking for. And Matthew, of course, we all know Matthew. He insisted it had to be somewhere near water. And
yes, I did.
Actually,
not just because of they came from beneath the sea.
no, not just.
I tend to find generally, and it's the same with Monster Kingdoms, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit. I very much favor having places that have coastline. It immediately opens up the possibilities of the stories you can tell, not just because you can go out to sea, but because waterfronts, whether we're talking the whole Puget Sound region or going all the way to the East Coast, you're looking at something like the Boardwalk in Atlantic City. As soon as you have seafront, you have a very different kind of story. You have working class, blue-collar workers now in a city. If you have waterfronts, that provides a whole new range of characters you can play. But anyway, I like the sea. I like a maritime lean in my games, so I'm happy for that.
Absolutely.
So far, I've taken down notes. We need to include Fraser Crane, Seattle Seahawks, maybe the Sci-Fi Museum. I like the
Sci-Fi Museum's great.
When I went to Seattle, that was my favorite part. But anyway, what else? What else did we talk about at this convention, Rich?
Well, we have for today is the last day for it, but we have a free Scion Jumpstart on Roll20, so it is the VTT version of the Scion Jumpstart, and you can get that and download it for free on Roll20 for the rest of today. There are multiple sales also going on. I don't know when they end, but let's just assume it's today. So get over there and buy a lot of our stuff on Drive-Thru, on Indie Press Revolution, and on Studio 2. There's 50% off on a bunch of stuff, both PDFs and physical products. So
oh yeah, definitely take advantage of the physical sales. I've heard a couple of people say, why haven't you been speaking about World of Darkness? That's a whole different topic, but we have got a lot of our World of Darkness books on sale right now. If you're a big fan of our work, if you've not completed your collection yet of 20th anniversary books, for example, and we've released a lot of them, you can get a whole load of them right now with significant money off. And that extends, as Rich said, to Indie Press Revolution. So if you prefer traditional print or the deluxe anniversary printings of some of our books, some of them are still available on Indie Press Revolution in very, very low numbers. So get them while the money off offer is there.
Absolutely.
Along the same lines, just want to say that we went live into our beta for the SPU dice roller, and also just StoryPath dice roller, but you can do both. And you can do Curseborn on it. Any game that is StoryPath or StoryPath Ultra, you can use this dice roller. It is a Discord dice roller. It's on our Discord. And we would love if you could try it out. There's Discord channels for it. And also there's a Discord channel for any bugs that you might find while you're doing it, because this is the final countdown, the final beta for this, and hopefully anything that we find we can work out really fast, and it will be rolling on our Discord.
Yep, and there is a link in the StoryPath Dicebot channel that I have pinned, so you can find it very easily. That has a link for you to add the bot to your own server. So if you have a server where you're playing StoryPath Ultra games and you want to use the Dicebot in your server, just open that link and it'll prompt you to add it to any servers that you own. You can add it to the specific server, and then y'all can play with it in your server as well. You don't have to just roll it in ours. Like, it is available to add to anybody's server.
And I even did that last night. I was running Curseborn
Nice.
last night for some of my Patreons, and I've already installed the SPU Dicebot over on my channel, and they were using it to great effect. And yes, adding their enhancements and so forth to their dice pools before rolling. It all worked. So give it a go, install it on your own servers, play with it.
We have we will be launching a community content fiction contest. More news on that as it develops, but it will be happening very soon. And basically the idea is you can write fiction for any of our game lines that have community content depots, sites, areas where
Chunks.
you can put those things up and people can pay you for them. They can you can pay what you want. You can put them for free. But we will be looking at the ones that go up on these sites, the fiction, as you alert us, and we'll be judging which ones we like, probably with a poll of our community, who likes what. So it should be a lot of fun. But right now I do not have bullet points for it, so we're just going to roll.
I want to feel they came from fiction.
Yeah.
I want to see how ridiculous you can get.
Don't encourage Larry Blamer.
Very
He'll be right in there.
Very ridiculous.
And then kind of related to the very first thing I talked about, we will be doing crowdfunding still, and we're doing the next crowdfunder very soon now in the next couple of weeks for Pugmire Unleashed, which was
Pugmire and Beyond, which was Expansion of the Realms, which was the Pugmire Player's Guide.
Right. But we like Pugmire Unleashed. We thought it was the appropriate feeling for Pugmire. We believe we worked out a good way to do this so that it is not affected by the tariffs. So you will see when we put up more information.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an experiment, but luckily it is leveraging things that we've gotten down really well over the past decade or so. So I'm confident that, on our end, things will be fine. But as Rich says, the flux is causing so many different things happening that we're going to try new ways to get you the stuff you love.
Yeah.
Get ready for Badgers.
We certainly hope you'll feel like you can support us in that, because it is going to be a little bit of an experiment on how we do crowdfunding. So after that is Monster Kingdoms, the next of the Earth Bane.
Get ready for a bunch of monsters.
Cycle game.
Yes, we'll never be ready for all of them. There are a lot of monsters.
I felt like there was a game where you could play a vampire and
no, never been done. Never been done. Monster Kingdoms is the very first game where you can play a vampire as a protagonist.
Yeah.
Well, certainly in a true fantasy setting, it's not a historical game. Probably.
Well, I mean, technically it's a historical game for the Earthbane Saga.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Or it's the most modern one yet. We don't.
True,
know.
maybe a future game. Yeah.
Yes, it is a cycle after all. Yes, Monster Kingdom is coming up. Very, very much looking forward to that. The team has worked incredibly hard on it, and you can check out a lot of information about that game in the Earthbane panel. It's on this Twitch channel if you're subscribed to it, and you can subscribe to this channel for free if you have an Amazon Prime account. If you don't, this video and the Earthbane one will end up on our Onyx Path YouTube channel in weeks.
Couple of weeks. Yep.
Yeah, so you can catch up then. But it is our next Earthbane game. It is one I am very excited for, and one I can tell you wholeheartedly that the writers did a superb job on. They have made this a very, very interesting setting with a lot of flexibility. It's
the first one I worked on. It was a lot of fun getting to work on one of the Earthbane books. Because I'm a big fan of World Below, as Matthew knows. I'm sorry I haven't gotten a chance to work on that yet. And I liked Out the Gates a bunch. And so Monster Kingdoms was my first time kind of poking into this world. And it was really, really fun. Also just seeing the amount of work that Matthew had already done on writing all the kingdoms and everything really helped, I think, all the rest of the writers, figure out how to go about doing exactly what you needed for the book.
Mhm.
Some people would describe that as overkill, and I'm very glad you appreciate.
I think it's helpful. I think
Daisy.
it's helpful.
We all appreciate it, Matthew. We just shake our heads and go, "Oh my
Yeah,
god!"
'cause he could be doing work he's getting paid for. No, there is a big. Well, I'd say there's a big Monster Kingdoms Bible. A great deal of it has been translated into the
book now.
manuscript.
Yeah.
Right.
It isn't worthless behind the scenes information that only serves to gratify me. It will gratify you as well, equally, with any luck.
Mhm.
And someone asked, and I'm just going to jump over here into the question thing. Will there be a fourth Earthbane game starting next year? Ha ha ha! And then okay, and then someone
You
put
know
a
the
little-
answer to that if you said ha ha ha.
and then Eddie's put a little crying emoji. But we have multiple additional Earthbane games that we will be bringing to the fore as is appropriate. A lot of what we're doing now is obviously catching up on a whole lot of our earlier projects and a whole lot of our earlier Kickstarters where we had stretch goals, and we're catching up on all of those. And we're moving forward with a lot of stuff for Curseborn, and significant behind the scenes maneuvering for a bunch of our other major lines with cool new things. So will there be? Absolutely. When? We didn't announce it here, so maybe next year, or maybe right in the middle of it will surprise you.
Just so you know, according to Twitch chat, the laugh was an error. It was meant to be a reaction to a different post.
Oh, it's too late now.
They've apologized. They
You've
were just
taken it
trying to ask the
personally.
question if there was
No,
going to be a fourth one.
I saw it more as like more like nervous laughter. So it was kind
Like-
of fun.
Like, can I get some more of that Earthbane? You got any
Yeah,
more
you
of that
know,
Earthbane in there?
I really, laughter or not, I really appreciate the question because we've had tremendous support for The World Below. We've had fantastic support for At the Gates. I really hope to see similar or even greater support for Monster Kingdoms. And as long as people keep supporting these games, bearing in mind they are new games, every time we come up with a brand new game and throw it out to the wild, all
It's
of
a
you
new
lovely,
world.
lovely people,
Yeah.
it always comes with a risk. It's a gamble for us when we create something new. So when it generates enthusiasm, when people start posting about these games in places like RPGNet and EN World and on their YouTube channels and wherever else, it brings more potential fans, more potential players and customers. So as long as you keep supporting these games and keep telling your fellow players and GMs and story guides and the rest about them, it gives us freedom and energy, and let's be clear, money to make
To keep going.
further games. So if you want to see a fourth Earthbane game, or a fifth or a sixth, who knows, keep picking them up, keep supporting them, tell people, play them. That's
Keep
a very
putting
important
ratings and
yeah,
stars
rate them,
and everything you
review
can.
them, run them at conventions like this one, online or in person. It all helps. All of it
Mhm.
helps.
Mhm.
Eddie, do you want to say anything else about Pugmire Unleashed?
I feel like we honestly spent a lot of the Realms
We
of
did.
Pugmire panel talking
Yep.
about it. I mean, so I really do recommend checking that out. But I mean, for the short version, if you are a fan of Realms of Pugmire, but thought, what if I didn't play a dog? This is definitely the book to check out. As Dixie pointed out, for the first time ever, we have playable badger clans. We've also updated and expanded on birds, reptiles, and lagomorphs, which are bunnies and hares, and also dogs get a lot too. We're going to get more callings for dogs, a lot more spells for dogs, backgrounds for dogs, tricks for dogs, and also we're going to guilds and organizations. So new organizations and guilds all around the city of Pugmire. We go into the different noble families, some of the most prominent noble families in Pugmire. Talk to you more about who's running them and what's going on with them and how they interact with each other. And also, for the first time ever, we talk about a lot of the environs outside of Pugmire. So we're talking about Houndton, which we've referenced since day one, but never really gave you a full breakdown of them. We go into Mutt Town. We update Waterdog Port from Pirates of Pugmire, and other kind of smaller villages and other prominent locations that we talk about in the book. So it's even if you just play dogs, I didn't want Pugmire to be just every time a book comes out, it's for everyone but dogs. There's a lot here for dogs, but also there's a lot outside of that. And on top of all that, there are 3 new adventures for storytellers to run. So I mean, right now, with the 3 that are in Curious Cats and the 1 that's in the back of the Realms Pugmire book, we'll have up to 7 adventures already for the new edition of Pugmire.
Yeah.
So there's a lot for story guides for guides to dig into. Yeah, so I mean, I'm very excited about it. I'm really happy with how the book turned out. And hopefully, knock on wood, everything falls in place and y'all will start seeing it in a couple of weeks where you can back and support it.
And we should have the backer kit, a pre-launch link sometime very soon. I don't want to say definitely by the time I put up the Monday meeting notes blog, but
Right.
I'm kind of pushing people for that. But definitely early-ish, mid-ish, or maybe late-ish next week.
Nice.
There's enough wiggle room there.
Right.
But yeah,
You get to see a badger. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Like,
Aspects.
there's just something about like writing stuff, especially for Pugmire. I think it's because the art is so cute and evocative. Like, I
Yeah.
get so excited whenever I see art of anything that I wrote for Pugmire because it's just neat. Like, seeing art of anything that you wrote is neat, but Pugmire is just very special to me. So
Indeed. Well, me too. Definitely.
yeah.
I love seeing the art for it.
you don't like it at all.
Ah,
You're just in it for the money. That sweet, sweet RPG money.
it's true. The dog.
yeah.
I sell all my dogs.
all those dollars,
Dog
I'll
dollars.
quarters. Can't even say pennies now.
buy
So
Pugmire from you right now.
what else do we want to say, folks, are going on? We have another question, which is related to when I said, hey, we're doing a bunch of stuff, that maybe we're not talking about, it's behind the scenes, or it's other companies that are doing things with us that isn't really our, there's no point in our continually to say stuff is happening. So is there any news on the Scion TV show? Is it still going ahead? Felt like I didn't hear or see anything for a bit now. And the reason you haven't heard or seen anything about it is that there's been nothing that we can say about where things are going with that. The efforts by Jenkins and Tate are only pushing harder, only accelerating, but we don't have anything that's an official announcement for anything. It is really weird from our point of view, where we have pretty much a series of stages, and we know where we are along the way. You can watch those with on the Monday meeting notes or in the monthly recaps of where things are. To work with media in the Hollywood, TV movie style of stuff, where done deals disappear when management changes. You can't get a meeting with so and so, and until they call you up, surprisingly, on like your other line for some reason. Just bizarro things. So leave those all to Jenkins and Tate. They are the professionals in that area, and I meet with Brian Jenkins usually once or twice a month to get updates on where things are going. There's a lot of they've done a lot of material for it, for pitch decks and things like that. It's just this Hollywood thing. So
Yeah.
it's going. We don't have an actual thing to say, but process continues.
Yeah, kind of as an anecdote to that, without necessarily comparing it to our specific project, because like Rich says, everything's kind of bespoke and special in media. But I was just reading today that Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K project keeps running into problems, and because of Henry being involved and the way that he's able to be a little more transparent about it. But he's like, they're just now at the point of nailing down the Bible so they can start writing scripts from it, right? And this was announced years ago. So I mean, what happens a lot in media, from my outside experience, is things take a long time to get started, and then they happen very quickly after that. It sounds like from what Rich is saying, we're still in that kind of getting all the pieces in place for the entire puzzle to snap into position, as it were.
Yeah. No. One of our relatives is John Spates, who is a script writer and producer. He did Dune. He was on Dune, and I remember him talking about a decade ago about how he had some ideas for Dune and was going to push them, and I thought, oh, good on you, buddy. I hope that works out. And as his career has developed, and he did the Mummy and Doctor Strange, and he gets more and more ability to talk to the right people. But even that, it's still, decade, 15 years ago when the first idea was talked about. So it's the biz, not ours. Okay. Eddie, are otters still part of the badger tribes?
I answered that in the chat just to make my life easy, but yes.
I will read a small section from the book. Now that the badger clans have started opening diplomatic relations with the other species, the charismatic otters are widening the scope of their duties. Otters have been the peacekeepers and arbiters amongst the clans since they joined many years ago, but sending envoys to Pugmire, the monarchies, and beyond is precariously new. So there you go. Otters are definitely part of it and have a specific role in this new status quo of Rome's Pugmire.
Yeah, you
Huzzah.
see, otters are very cute, so I made them the charisma ones.
Yep.
And by I mean, I think Eddie told me to, but it did make sense. Like, otters are really freaking cute.
The reason why I told you is because otters are freaking cute. So
they hold hands when they sleep on their backs.
I know.
I wouldn't trust a badger as far as I could throw one.
A
You
cute
could throw a
badger.
badger
And how
pretty
far could you
far.
throw a badger?
Like a
Right.
lawn dart. They have very sharp front teeth. If you angle it right, they will embed in the lawn.
Yeah, but
I'm
what
not
if they're ferrets?
advocating
You could just
harm
like
to
bowl
badgers.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, bowl
Yeah.
them.
Bowl ferret. Okay, we're,
Like cricket.
So
that's the next source book.
that's definitely a sport for Monster Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Bowling.
Cricket.
Small mammal athletics track
It'll
and
be-
field.
It'll be just like the croquet scene in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. I think my mind must have been there. As we could have mock turtle soup. Oh, great.
Very
And what's next?
What's next? Yeah, what is next?
So
Well,
you've seen
yes.
the Exalted panel. The Exalted panel was, I understand, quite a good panel. What we're doing with Exalted, the only thing we can announce is that the Exalted Essence Storyteller's Guide will be something that we're working on, and whether that gets crowdfunded, not whatever, we will determine those things as warrant.
Right.
It would be a cool crowdfunder, but we don't know.
And without spilling into too many beans, like there are other books churning in the background too.
Yes.
It's not like this is the only book that we have in the pipeline. This is the only one we're confident that we can start announcing and talking about. Yeah, so,
That's right.
so
Yeah,
again, I just want to cut up
And a lot of stuff to get caught up on with Exalted as well.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's been a lot of what we've been working on the past 6 months. Is just trying to get things back in queue, and it seems like we've been getting a much better pattern of getting things across the finish line. So
Yeah, I definitely assured people during the panel that we haven't forgotten about like liminals or Cotimians or some of the, older pitches that we talked about or anything. It's just that we really wanted to focus on getting the splats out. And especially the like 8 extant ones before we started talking about liminals and Cotimians.
Right.
So like
And
I think
Exigence
we
was a
have-
special case because it gave people the tools, the ability to
Right.
Make their
create
own.
their own if they needed to. Well,
Yeah.
Yep.
So like we haven't forgotten about it. We're not announcing anything right now. We're only announcing the Essence Storyteller's Guide. But it's not like we're like, okay, that's it. Bye.
Right.
No. We're still working on stuff.
Yep.
I'll play the
in
same.
fact,
sorry, go ahead.
just
Rich,
because
go ahead.
I was talking in the earlier, I don't know if it was during a panel or just when I was talking with Mirthful Mike, and he even said, wow, we are getting so many things done and wrapped up and going. This feels so good. So that has definitely been our focus on pretty much once we wrapped up the Curseborn Kickstarter, I think, because all of our brain spaces were capable now of dealing with other things. Roll with it. And so, yeah, we're definitely focusing more on delivery of some of these things that have drifted a little too long.
Yeah. Similarly, I think Matthew's about to talk about the world below, but I'm gonna jump in real quick and say we're also doing a push to get Aberrant books out. We've had Aberrant books on our minds for quite a while, but just for a variety of reasons, we couldn't quite get all the pieces together. But now we're trying to get those out the door too. And we have one already either close to or out.
No, it's out.
Okay, yeah, so I thought so. Oh, it's been a minute. And I know Mike and I are talking about the next one in that pipeline and what order to do them in and whatnot. So I mean, Aberrant's another game that we're very excited, very passionate about. So yeah, those are also coming out the door soon.
And yeah, in fact, I wasn't going to mention the world below, but I'm glad you did, because yeah, we have two big source books, chunky source books coming out for the world below. We've got the Delver's Guide, which is your player's handbook-esque book, with new callings, new dialectics, new settlements, new sorceries, all kinds of new stuff, and a whole heap of tables and charts that you can use to customize your characters, customize the events of your Calm season, and so on. And then we've got Secrets of Calm and Chaos, which is your story guide's handbook for the world below, which is going to have even more detail about the lore of the world below, going into the rather alien realms of the well and the abyss, the dark, mini games, mining mini games, farming mini games, monster hunting mini games, because we're trying to outmatch Danielle's fishing mini game and At the Gates. Seems people like mini games in the Earthbane games, so we will do mammal bowling in Monster Kingdoms at some point.
Game. It's just all mini games, nothing else.
Yeah. And but no, what I was going to talk about on the same lines as Exalted, I suppose, is we do, even though we didn't announce these in this convention, in They Came From land, we've got They Came From the Danger Zone coming up pretty soon, which is our action movies. Action movies and martial arts movies. All of our archetypes in it are based off of Arnold Schwarzenegger roles. They all begin with the letter C. What have we got? Cyborg, Cop, Combat Master, Commando, and I'm sure there's another flavorful word beginning with C that summarizes Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't remember what the other one was.
Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, we'll go for that. And we've also got They Came From Witchford Academy, which is our magical school role-playing game, which covers everything from Little Witch Academia, Wednesday, and well, all sorts. And these are both books around the size of Camp Murder Lake, which, if you already have that, you'll know is a pretty sizable book. The only thing that marks them as different from a core book in terms of content is they don't have character creation, they don't have a system chapter. But you can bolt them onto absolutely any They Came From core and use this material. So you've got new archetypes, new cinematics, new quips, new antagonists, adventures. All of that's in there. So there's some pretty chunky They Came From material coming down the pipe as well.
Yeah, if you want like a real spooky magic user school, more like along the Wednesday zone, you've got From Beneath the Grave, if you're Beyond the Grave, one of the graves.
Yep. Beyond the grave. If you're beneath the grave, you've been double buried.
That's right. Which could happen.
Yeah.
With the right card. And, you know, if you wanted something that's a little more in the fantasy zone, you know, like a good 80s fantasy bizarre school thing, boom, put that right into Cyclops Cave. Boop.
Yeah, I was talking about how I would love to mix Camp Murder Lake with Witchford Academy and have a slasher stalking the halls of...
I was going to say Murder Lake, but then that's you know, a supplement against a supplement.
I know, but that's the thing. You can match up supplements.
Rules somewhere in there, you know.
All of They Came From is completely crossover compatible. It all uses the same rule set. You can move any archetype, any trope, any cinematic, any quip from any game into another one. So if you want your galactic marines from Interstellar Starship, which is in They Came from the RPG anthology, to land and They Came from Bridgeton Rectory and start blasting up Mr. Darcy, you can do that. The rules will permit it and even
Not
encourage
Mr.
it.
Darcy.
And see, I
I-
was going to recommend Bridgeton Rectory with Beyond the Grave to do Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
there you
almost more logical.
Almost.
I like to put Camp Murder Lake with everything.
Also, somebody
Sure.
mentioned the faculty in the chat, and that
Yeah.
is the third time I have dealt with mention of the faculty this week.
Oh,
And that's
interesting.
just strange to me because the guy who played the football player in the faculty is one of the doctors on the pit.
Mm-hmm.
And Clea Duvall was just on a podcast I listened to. They talked about the faculty, and now it's gotten brought up again. And I'm like, does the universe want me to rewatch the faculty?
It's experiencing a research.
Because I feel like I haven't seen it. Like,
Is that the one where Baby Newirth is the
Yes.
principal?
it sure is.
Parasitic teachers.
Do enjoy her. She's
Little
lovely.
alien sluggy things in your ear, just like Animorphs.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, hell no, no. Nope.
Eddie's firm veto on that one.
I think they can go in through your eye as well, Eddie. It's all right.
That's fine. Eyes
Yeah.
fine.
Anyway, do we have any other
Infestation's
questions?
behind us.
Yeah.
I've had enough stuff pulled from my ears in my life. I do not want to see it on TV.
You know, I don't think. Do we ever see in the movie The Thing how the Thing actually replicates somebody? Obviously, you see Bennings getting sort of enwreathed and getting all slimy and tendrils, but I don't think you ever see the process.
No, I think it's implied.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time since I saw it. It's got Elijah Wood and Josh
Really?
Hartnett.
No,
Very
but the
briefly.
faculty does, not The Thing.
Oh, sorry, I'm not talking about the faculty. That's
Yeah.
that's my
Just-
problem.
Still in faculty mode.
Yeah.
I was looking at the Wikipedia because I was trying to make sure I wasn't spreading false information about BB Newirth.
No, I was pretty sure about that one myself.
Well, it's like
The only
her
reason I
and
watched it.
Famke Janssen are both in it, and I get them mixed up. They're both sharp-featured women. I don't know.
but
Right.
BB's a dancer and she's very.
And of
I'm
course,
straight, Rick.
and played Lilith, the wife to Frasier Crane.
Oh,
the
face
Got a
line.
lovely circle there. Back to our very first announcement.
Famke, I think, has played a lot of very physical roles.
Xenia Onatop to go to They Came from Classified. She played
Yep.
Xenia Onatop in GoldenEye, one of my least
That's-
favorite James Bond movies.
Really? Really?
Yes, I had this.
I think people like the game more than they like the movie.
I think the game buoyed the movie. I think the movie would have been forgotten if not for what is a very popular, obviously, N64
So buoyed,
game.
It
It buoyed,
floated it up.
buoyed.
Buoyed.
Yes. buoy,
Uh,
David Bowie.
I'm glad you said Bowie. David Bowie. I've never
He's in
got on with people who
space.
say Bowie.
Well, that's
Really?
not how his
Bowie?
name is pronounced.
Right, his name's
Bowie's
Bowie.
in space.
No,
Or if it's the knife, it's Bowie, but it's a separate thing.
it's the terror of knowing.
Yeah, it was a
what
Bowie
this
knife
world
for us
is
growing up.
about.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we only have 6 minutes left. The panel's getting weird.
Getting?
Yeah. Kidding. Do we have other stuff? Do we have other stuff we want
I
to
think
share?
that's everything on our list of things to share.
Well, we can connect David Bowie to one of our games as well because we have a Goblin King in Monster Kingdoms.
The Scarlands guy asks, "Do you want to share say something about Scarlands?" Yeah. Why don't you do a voiceover and tell us about it?
Because they can't hear Travis on this call.
They can now. This is
Oh my
He
This
has
is
the,
the voice.
power to unmute.
Is Travis the Curse Master now?
yes, I am the curse master.
I am the gatekeeper.
Oh, great. Let's go turn into dogs.
Yes! I like gold.
Turn it into dog.
All of Eddie's dreams realized.
Right back to Pugmire.
I'm just popping in real quick to first of all, thanks everybody for being here. But also,
Thank you for pulling this all together, Travis.
of course, happy to do so. Also, just to make everyone aware, yes, in fact, there is Scarlands stuff going on right now. My company, Aegis Studios, is licensing Scarlands to create products for the Savage Worlds system. And that stuff is out right now at Drive-Thru-RPG. We've started off with Gauntlet of Spirogos, which is being presented as an enhanced jumpstart. So you've got, in addition to the amazing adventure, you have about 20 pages worth of player-facing material on the setting, and you have a few options for creating your own characters, as well as ready-made characters with brand new art by the extremely talented Rich Thomas to represent those characters. So that's super exciting for me. That is available in POD and PDF. We have the Dagger is out in PDF and will be available in POD pretty much as soon as the proofs show up, and I'm sure that they are in good shape. And Matthew and Eddie have both worked on expanding some creatures for us. Monthly, we're putting out a new creature every month. So we've got some of them have been converted solely by me. Matthew has worked on a few of them. Eddie's worked on a few of them, and those are rolling out on a monthly basis. And I will throw the link to that in the chat. If you head over to that link, you'll be able to pick up all the Savage World stuff. And now I will slink back into the shadows.
Goodbye, Curse Master. Yeah, so that this is very much an experiment for us to see if Scarlands can port over to other systems. We know that it's a fun setting. We know that it's a great thing. It's a great fantasy setting to play in. We're just trying experimenting a few things, and since Travis and his company are really, they've done a lot of work in the Savage Worlds environment in that whole area. This seemed like a really good chance to see if we could get some more interest in Scarlands going. All right. Well, with that, we're almost at the end. Does anybody out there have any additional questions they want to throw our way before we're done?
Yeah, get your questions in while you can, because we've all got places to be.
Yeah, I've got 15 minutes, and then we're in the SPU panel.
Not
so,
me.
I sure as hell ain't.
But yeah,
I don't know what the SPU. What is SPU?
it's that thing you helped come up with
Spew.
and use in your games.
The SPU system.
The SPU system. SPU.
Yes. It does sound like the system that should have been used for whole. There's a memory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
We've got a question. We've got a question.
Where's
My
it?
God, it's from Killer Chandra.
We're back into Gem and the Holograms questions from yesterday. All right.
Which
Okay.
they came from title would work well with the 80s cartoons Gem and Turbo Teen. Probably not Witchford
They
Academy.
came from the Kickin' soundtrack.
I would go for they came from beneath Capes and Cowls. I think they came from the RPG Anthology, which, if you aren't aware, RPG Anthology does contain 11 complete games with around 60-something archetypes. It's ridiculous, the number of playable options in that one, and cinematics.
What's with you making 16 playable options, Matthew?
60 is a nice number, I think, to aim for. It's not too much, not too few.
I just can't say no to a guy with an English accent. I don't know what to tell you. So, he just goes, no, I have some more ideas. Very good.
With Curseborn, when Rich said 31 families, that seems like a lot. And I adopted my Patrick McGowan, and I just double it. 31, double it. 62. We need 62 families. Now, do it.
I will say that with the Gem runs into the problem that we've had with that Matthew and I have talked about extensively on the podcast before, is that musical is a template, not a genre. Like anything can be a musical. And so Gem is just an 80s TV show. The only magic is technology, and that's just holograms. There's no other magic in the whole show. So it's real world 80s.
Camp Murder Lake, then. There we go.
Yeah.
When in doubt, Camp Murder Lake.
But the musical.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, Camp Murder Lake.
It does have a lot of teenage archetypes in.
It does indeed. All right. Is that what we've got?
Gem's an adult. She runs an orphanage and a record label.
Well, they're orphans then.
Yeah, they're all orphans.
A slasher killed their parents.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna write horror Gem now. Anyway.
Final hologram they're waiting, the one that shows their death.
It's not really a hologram.
That's
it's
why
just
they're all
Chris
holograms.
Barry with an H sticker on his forehead. They thought he was a hologram, but he was really just a serial
I love
killer
that.
pretending
I
to be
love
one.
it. I love it.
Travis, you better take us out of here.
Goodbye,
we gotta go.